So I'm going to present in a way in my report the activity of the Executive Committee during the last 12 months, and in a way to give you a short answer to the question, what really did we do during the last 12 months? We discussed several issues. Okay. We discussed several topics. First of all, probably the most important one, academic goals and development directions of each faculty. We did it for many hours. And of course, we did it with the deans in order, first of all, to understand what we are doing today in all our faculties and to try to understand and to approve the directions and the tendencies of each faculty. Second, for the first time, we discussed and the management presented us the work plan and the budget from a multi-year perspective. And I'm saying it because in a way it was a dream several years ago. It gives us the opportunity to understand not only what we are doing today and what we are approving for the next 12 months, but what will be the results of what we are approving in the next 5 or even more years. Later, we discussed in several meetings budget, what I call ongoing matters, budget, university investment, approval of establishing new research centers, institutions, and all what is necessary for the university to go on. And we discussed, at least for 2 meetings, the university position regarding the Board of Governors that was mentioned, decisions last year that was mentioned by Fred Tauber a little bit earlier. I remind you and myself that the discussions related to the Center of Excellence at the university, to diversity on campus, we have to assess the geopolitical position of the university and, of course, assessing and promoting best teaching practices. We reached some conclusions, and the first one is the Center of Excellence. It was reported last year, It was reported last year, yes, okay, that university, the management presented and the rector presented the matrix of, if I remember, 7 focal points of excellence in which we believe that we have a relative advantage, and we believe that in the next 10 years we can lead the Israeli academics in relation to these specific fields. But during last year, the effort, investment, and the focus of the university was to do everything to take forward the marine science. I remind you that 2 years ago, it was a decision of the Israeli government to give us the role and the responsibility to research, to lead the research of the eastern part of the Mediterranean. And this is what we tried to do during last year. I believe that the president will give a detailed report dealing with this issue. Second, we had at least 2 meetings to try to understand and then to improve what we call the culture of research in our university. First, since there are many discussions, how can we measure or how should we measure academic excellence? So finally, we select the academic index of the Planning and Budget Committee, the Israeli Planning and Budget Committee, as an index to the quality of research at our university. Second, we studied this index, its academic and financial implications. And third, we studied the situation of our university in comparison to universities in Israel. Everything, by the way, will be presented during the next 2 days. Next, we tried, and when I say we, it was the management and led by the president. Of course, major work was done by the rector and his staff in order to build a multi-year plan to improve the quality of the research in cooperation with the deans. And all the topic will be presented in detail at the meeting of the Academic Affairs Committee. I believe that it will be tomorrow or the day after. And I invite all of you to participate, to learn with us, and to give us your views about what we are doing, because I believe that it will shape the level of research in our university in the next 10 years. When it comes to diversity on campus, what we saw is mainly continuation of joint activities. It was presented by the Dean of Students and the student body. And what we believe that we are trying to create an atmosphere in which the vague term of Israeli mosaic will be a valid term. It reminds me that today, during the morning, I heard that in a new poll in our education system in Israel, we heard that more than 45% of Jewish students do not want to study with Arab students, and vice versa. Arab students do not want to study with Jewish students. And I'm saying it only because it creates a huge challenge for us in the academic campus, in which, since I believe that in Israel today, this is the only place in which we really meet and we really have the possibility to create sense of equality and belonging. So this is what we are trying to do in the University of Haifa. When it comes to the decision of geopolitical position, it was presented by the management, and finally we took a decision to elect a subcommittee in order to try to see how can we translate this idea into a very, very simple question, which is to promoting research excellence at the university while utilizing the space, the demography, and the geographic location in the north and proximity to the seashore. I'm saying it because finally in the universities there is a debate about priorities. Some people believe that if we take the idea of Israeli mosaic or our social challenge, and if we invest energy in dealing with the relations of our university with our geography, which is the north, it will be on the account of our academic achievements. I don't think so, but the way we presented the question create the idea that there is no contradiction between all these three topics. Hanan, our Dean of Students, yesterday, in his speech yesterday evening, he said something very interesting, that diversity is not a liability. Diversity everywhere is not a liability, but opportunity or virtue, asset, okay. I believe that it is a great virtue, especially in academic research and academic atmosphere. Anyhow, the intention is to include an external professional entity, and we are in this process, and hopefully we shall present the results next year. And finally, our president, Amos Shapira, is concluding 3 years of his term, and according to the general regulation, we in the executive committee and the Senate elected his representatives to the search committee, and we shall spend the next few months in order to revise and to lead this process, in which we shall present to the Board of Governors the decision of the executive committee in order to be approved by the governors next year. I have to remind all of us that it will be a different process this year. It will be the first time when, after the decision or proposal of the search committee, it will go to the Senate will vote, later it will go to the executive committee will vote, actually formally, will elect the president, and it will have to approved next year in the Board of Governors. So I wish all of us a very interesting 2 or 3 days. I believe that it will enable all the members, all the governors, to participate, to give us their views, and to be part of the university, not only by helping us, but telling us exactly what they believe we should do in the next 12 months and probably in the next 40 years. Thank you very much.